It's 8 p.m. in Banjul, and this is the Gambia Radio and Television Services broadcasting for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. Our top stories this hour. The capital city of Banjul clocks 206 following British colonial rule, giving it the name Batos. JRTS joins the Operation Wula Konko team to revisit Fonyi following clashes between the Senegalese soldiers and the MFDC separatist rebels. Plus, OIC Gambia Secretariat efforts in its road expansion project. This as JRTS engages the office on the level of progress. Away from home, thousands of Argentine farmers hold massive protests against government policies believed to affect the agricultural sector. And gas scarcity hits U.S. state of California, with dozens of people standing for hours to cross to the southern part into Mexico. Well, those are the headlines and much more coming ahead with me, Rohibite. Do stay with us. Many thanks for joining us. Let's begin this bulletin with a quick reaction from the Gambia Armed Forces, which on Saturday visited border communities along the Fonyi-Casamas border belt. The visit, dubbed Confidence and Assurance Patrol, was meant to assess the security situation along the border following clashes between the Senegalese forces and the MFDC separative Alaji Mbaye has the details of this report.
Officials of the Gambia Armed Forces over the weekend visited several communities along the border between the Gambia and the southern Senegalese region of Casamance. The initiative, dubbed Operation Wula Kokon, is a continuous patrol carried out by soldiers to provide confidence and psychological support to residents of Fonyi. Following clashes between Senegalese forces and MFDC separatives in Casamance, leading to people in Fonyi fleeing their homes for safety. Lieutenant Colonel Omar Bojang is the commander of the Quick Reaction Forces carrying out the patrols.
We are able to protect some of the animals who were actually, if they are not giving them food or water, they could have gone astray, they would have gone left. But because of the patrols and the standing patrol that we conducted, you can see we are in the Kasu season. So because sometimes people were afraid to get into their farms to pick the Kasus, but we stand there for 2-3 hours to allow them to harvest, and later they move, as you heard some of these community leaders what they actually said. So the problems, of course, they are there, but at least very minimal. We've got enough support. You can see the new vehicles that have been given by the government.
We are here in Balen, in Fonyi Councillor District, where the confrontation between the Senegalese forces and the MFDC separatists began on January 24, 2022. We fled twice. The first was when the Senegalese forces chased a truck into Casamas, and they clashed with the MFDC separatives. The second came 2 weeks later, when there was heavy fighting between the two forces. Bullets were selling here, but Bojang and his men were helpful in picking them and assuring us our safety. We've heard from the Alcalo as well, who explained to us that there is order as of now, and then hopefully the other community members, majority of whom are still away, will be joining them tomorrow from various settlements. We are here between Baipol and Julanfar, and then we can see that this crater here is created by one of the artillery bomb cells that landed here, and it is said that the radius of its destruction can be up to 300 meters plus in Opad inside the community where we just left. There are tents that we are provided by government and partners to ensure that the internally displaced people will have proper accommodation until they are able to return to their respective communities. Yes, we are right at the border with Casamas here, just 100 meters from Opad, and then you can see right behind there is a house where the MFDC separatives had their checkpoint. But now we can get confirmation from the commander of the patrol team or the Quick Reaction Forces that they have already evacuated the place.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago they were very active. They were here. We even had an interaction with them, of course, to tell them that you have no business with coming into the Gambia with arms and ammunition. You can come as a normal citizen, which is allowed and is accepted, but you cannot come with arms and ammunition into our country, of which we had an agreement and we discussed. But now you can see they are not there. They have left the place.
At various communities, Alkalolo and community leaders returned gratitude to the government for providing support to the internally displaced people and the deployment of the army to ensure safety of their lives and properties. They, however, appealed for more support, saying they lost some of their livelihoods, such as their cashew plantations and livestock, which they said were affected by blood sellings from the conflict. At the end of the patrol, the commander of QRF-1, Lieutenant Colonel Bojang, described the initiative as successful, while the commander of the incoming forces, QRF-3, Lieutenant Colonel Abdullah Jata, assured the people of their commitment to continued peace and stability in the area.
Various villages and communities that we've interacted, you've seen their reaction, and you've heard firsthand some of the impacts that have been done by the patrol team and also the assistance by the government of the Gambia, and also the non-governmental organizations and also the civil society organization and also the local communities, how they were able to support each other.
We are going to continue what they have started. They have taken the shock when it was very hot, and now we are going to follow on their footsteps. We are not here to change anything, and we are here to support our people, the Gambian people, and to make sure that they go back to their normal lives.
The confidence and assurance patrol by officials of the Gambia Armed Forces is expected to provide psychological support to residents of the affected areas by the conflict, and as well limit the economic loss on internally displaced people. Alaji Mbaye, GRTS News.
Moving on, Banjul, the capital city of modern-day Gambia until 1965 and on the cusp of independence, bore its colonial name, Batos, named after Sir Al Batos. The centuries-old city is now 206 and still expresses her colonial era outlook. GRTS is revisiting the old city after 200 years. Here's an excerpt.
We are in our 70s, but the unfortunate situation is we don't have the archives, we don't have audios or videos of certain settlements that would have been kept, so that by now you could have gone there to review them and see them. There are so many artifacts, so many places and so many things that we've lost, and we just took them for granted and demolished them and then forgot about them. So today we cannot explain to a lot of people where some of these things were and their use and how much we as Banjulians enjoyed it. Nyun Samba Banjul and Kumba Banjul. Banjul during those days started from, you can say, Wellington and came up to Box Bar. That's where Banjul was. This new extension, Tobacco Road, was not around when we were growing up until later on. So the streets were narrow, very few were paved. So you'll see sand all over, and we played football, we played cricket, we played hide and go seek, and a lot of other games, because transportation was not that much of a problem. So certain areas you hardly see cars there. So we were obviously lucky enough to have space to play. And then neighbors were so close to each other that you can go from one compound to the other. Lindanwa Port. You can go to this compound and move out to the other compound. Then you have family compounds, each house owned by a member of the family. So the young people growing up there were lucky. They have aunts and uncles and yumpines and tantas that lived with them. So you can eat from there, or sometimes when they put the plate out or the bowl out for lunch, everybody comes in and they sit. So you have variety. So you have your variety, you have your choice. So we lived around with each other, went to Dara, formed clubs. So somebody, you don't know the relationship, but because you've lived for so long and you've shared a lot of things in common, so you are everybody's child. They look after you. They take care of you. But now it's mind your own business, mind your own child. If you touch anybody's child, they will take you to the police or they will talk about something. So even in schools, you go and you say, my name is Suleiman Jai. They look at you, you have some features that you say, are you related to this person? And you said yes. And the teacher will tell you, I'm your uncle or I'm your aunt. And that's how these teachers were close to us. The Dara, we went to the same Dara with a lot of people. The market was Marse Bumagbi, Lasowav, Musante Amona fi ports Beneka Nono at the entrance. So you were on Marseille. It means a lot. We are in our 70s. But the unfortunate situation is we don't have.
Well, Suleiman Bunjai there speaking to GRTS as the Banjul city clocks 206 years. Moving on to other development, the Regional Steering Committee of the Roots Project in the Central River region have completed a 2-day visit to project sites to assess the level of works. Our correspondent in the Central River region, Mudlamin Sane, reports.
This is the first time members of the Regional Steering Committee for the Roots Project are visiting project sites in the Central River region. The location visits by officials targets and seeks to assess ongoing works at community gardens supported by the Resilience Organization for Transformative Smallholder Project. An exciting welcome of the top party in Kunting village in day one saw them inspect this vast vegetable garden already producing as expected.
It's sustainable. This is what we call sustainable development. This project has been started by the NEMA project and it was incomplete. And we have several of these in the communities. They are incomplete. So if we leave it like that, it becomes useless. The fund have been invested and it's not completed and it's not going to be useful to the people. So it's been left out there and that will lead to and it's not going to be finished. But Roots project taking them over and trying to complete them is what we call sustainable.
Before moving to Kerewan Sitakoto to make more findings, the team briefly visited this land provided by the community in Kuntaur for the construction of a cold store.
As their work progress is concerned, I'm very optimistic that they will be able to achieve the objective in time, because so far they have done a very good job. You have seen the pipeline is in progress. I hope so they will be able to finish it.
They too took the steering committee to the southern part of the Central River region, beginning the day's activity with a visit to Jahali to check the rice fields leveled by the project. The team later proceeded to Sinchugundo Vegetable Garden to do similar inspection. Here everything looks promising and gardeners have already started to enjoy proceeds under the project intervention.
Things are on track, and if it progresses like that, there is hope that Roots at the end of the day will be a successful project, and most likely it will be sustainable in that the beneficiaries will recognize the projects as theirs, and the activities identified coincided with their felt need. That means it's really fitting what they want.
These are across the different interventions of Roots and the RPSF facility interventions. We visited the rice fields where we did some land leveling, land preparation for some vulnerable rice farmers. The Seed Growers Association of Saruja benefited from 10 hectares of land leveling and land preparation, and 15 other hectares went to the CRR's Rice Growers Association.
Part of the tour also featured some spot checks to beneficiaries under the Rural Poor Stimulus Program.
I want my fellow youth also to achieve something from Roots, simply because it changed my life. The help changed my life, and still now I'm going with the help. The support they give me, I'm going with it, and it is helping me.
Bakery was my first and only profession, but after going through the training, I became more diverse, and I am earning a lot through that. The steering committee wrapped up their tour in Sololo, where work is in progress to upgrade this massive garden to standard. Mudlamin Sane reporting for GRTS News from the Central.
Well, from that story there from Morlamin Sane, we will now take a look at the break and be right back. Please do stay.
My dear, how come you are constantly on your phone texting? You must have lots of credit.
Credit. All I need is $5. With the AfriCell SMS Express service, you can send 250 SMSs for $5 only. All you need to do is send SUB to 7050 for $5 only, and you can benefit from 250 SMSs valid for 7 days and enjoy texting.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Double the data, double the fun. Only on AfriMoney.
Buzz Bundle. To enjoy the Buzz Bundle on AfriMoney, dial *777# and double your data for as low as $10 and get 80 megabytes. And also, receive 3 gigabytes of data for only $150. There's more. Just dial *777# to find out.
All bundles are valid for 7 days. To cash in, visit our nearest AfriMoney agent.
AfriMoney. Send money anywhere, anytime.
Back, thousands of farmers and other protesters descended on Argentina's capital, Buenos Aires, on Saturday to protest government's policy they say harms their industry. CGTN's Joy Richard has the details of the report.
Force from Argentina's powerful agricultural sector. Thousands descended on Casa Rosada, the seat of national government and the president, to protest policies they say are not only hurting farmers, but also the country itself. Farmers travelled from across Argentina to take part in Saturday's convoy in Buenos Aires. Argentina is a major exporter of grains and meat, and world prices have spiked as a result of the conflict in Ukraine. Argentina saw record exports of more than $7 billion last month. But the country is battling annual inflation of more than 50%, as well as high poverty. This week, Economy Minister Martin Guzman announced a windfall tax on what he described as unexpected income. However, Agricultural Minister Julian Dominguez said this does not affect the agricultural sector. This protest points to wider political tension in Argentina. Prominent members of the opposition took part, and some have even compared the mood surrounding this tractor convoy to 2008, when a farmers' strike paralysed the country. The question is whether this protest escalates in the coming days and the coming weeks. Joel Richards for CGTN in Buenos Aires.
Gas prices have risen so much in the U.S. that residents in the Southern California are waiting hours to cross the southern border into Mexico, where gas is subsidized. CGTN's Alas Diaz Bavenstock travels to San Diego, California and Tijuana, Mexico to talk to Americans and Mexicans. Well, viewers, that brings us to the end of this bulletin, but before we take a leave of you, here's a quick look at our top stories once again. The capital city of Banjul has clocked 206 following British colonial rule, giving it the name Batos. GRTs have joined the Operations Wula Konko team to revisit Fonyi following clashes between the Senegalese soldiers and the MFDC separatist rebels. Plus, OIC Gambia Secretariat have been advancing efforts in its road expansion project. This as GRTs engages the office on the level of progress. And away from home, thousands of Argentina's farmers has held massive protests against the government policies believed to affect the agricultural sector. And gas scarcity has hit U.S. state of California, with dozens of people standing for hours to cross the southern part into Mexico. And that's it for the news. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. Do join us again at 2200 hours for more news. Until then, thanks for the pleasure of your company.